Dear viewers, welcome to the massive open online course on public financial administration. In the previous episodes, we have discussed various topics related to the public financial administration such as fiscal policy, taxation, budgeting, finance, finance commissions, Niti Aayog, and various other topics that we have discussed. And recently, the government of India has introduced a new education policy called National Education Policy 2020. It has been introduced or it has been implemented by various state governments gradually. And in this episode, we are going to discuss what are the various features of NEP 2020 and how it is affecting the Indian economic growth. Let us go into the topic. Let us discuss what are the various features of the NEP 2020 and equitable and inclusive education. And so it is talking about the education to all the people, deprived people, disadvantaged people. And so that is there, the children with a special need. So we have to bridge the gap between those who are getting and those who are underprivileged. So that is the inclusive education, and then equitable. And what the NEP is suggesting, we have to build special schools or special complex, because one school cannot offer all the facilities for the various kinds of disability, the visual impaired, the hearing impaired, or the locomotor impaired, or the the related to the mind or brain. So all this cannot be undertaken at a single school, and therefore it is suggesting the school complex, the resource center. Resource center means the facilities available for them, that is called the resource center. Special educator, say I am a general educator, like that there are special educator. And capacity building of teachers, all the teachers has to be trained, the capacity should be built up, and the teaching learning material. So what we are telling, everything at par with the general education should be given to the special children or the disadvantaged people also. So in totality, they will also come to the main core, and therefore they will also contribute something to the economy. And then comes the higher education. It is a higher education structure. So instead of the 3-year bachelor degree, it is converted into 4-year bachelor degree. So here one thing I want to tell, dear students, the student has multiple exit and multiple entry. That means they may enter the education at any time, they may exit the education at any time. It does not mean that it is something like anytime you come, anytime it go, not like that. You look at the diagram, when the student is completing the first year, he is given a certificate, that is called a UG certificate. That means if he is completing the first year, he is given a certificate. So what is the reason for it? In case if he is going for job, or if he is for short time that he is dropping out, and after some time he may join, and at least that he is having a certificate, with that he can get some employment. And then the second year, that is the UG diploma, 4 semesters, and the third year it is as usual the bachelor's degree, and the fourth year it is called bachelor's degree with research. That means after 4 years of graduation, previously it was called honors, and after 4 years of graduation, the student can directly go into post graduation, or he can go into research also. So it is the structure of that, and the important point is that multiple entry and multiple exit. So all these are pointing towards dropping the dropout and increasing the gross enrollment ratio. So, in totality, they will increase the economy. And this is for the another way, that means the degree, first year, second year and third year. So, and the thrust area, what are the thrust areas of higher education? The multidisciplinary and holistic education. Already we discussed multidisciplinary means there is no tight compartmental system between one discipline and another discipline. So it is multidisciplinary, the same thing as we have discussed in the school education. And digital empowerment, most of the higher education teaching and learning, that is on the digital literacy. And skill development and employability, because when the students are coming out, they should be employable. Research, capacity building, governance and autonomy, and quality ranking and accreditation, because there are so many quality ranking. In India, it is the NAC, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, or in the world, Time Higher Education. Like that, there are so many accreditation agencies are there. So, India has to go in higher ranks. That means the Time Higher Education, that is up to the 200 rank, that India has to enter. And the promotion of Indian languages and internationalization. So, the education should not be confined to India alone. It should be internationalization, that we will see in a short while. And already we see multidisciplinary and multiple entry and exit. What is the major advantage of this one? Because nowadays the big data, machine learning and all others, they are doing many unskilled jobs, because nowadays the industrial process is automated and therefore most of the processes are done by machines, and therefore what man will do, what humans will do. So we have to upskill yourself, we have to learn new skills, and that is where the multidisciplinarity is coming. And there is a need for the skilled workforce, because we need a skilled workforce, and they should have ability in science, social science and humanity. That means, suppose if I am a science graduate, my science knowledge alone is not enough. I should have some social skills like economics and some humanity skill like a better communication. So, a person should have all that, then only that I am able to get a job in the market, employability. And so, the UG program has to include courses in science, humanities, arts, etc. And for that, the system that is developed is CBCS, or choice based credit system. That means the students can take their own choice, and accordingly they can add their credit in the academic bank of credit. That is called the choice based credit system. So, my dear friends, the NEP has visualized the total flow of education in the aim of converting India into a knowledge superpower, a knowledge economy. The National Credit Framework. So, here already we have discussed about it. The ABC, or the Academic Bank of Credit, you can open, close, validate, because the agency will validate. For example, if I am getting a diploma or some skill from Anna University, automatically that I am depositing that certificate in the ABC, and it will validate, accumulate, and it will verify it, and I can transfer. For example, now I am studying at Anna University, and next year that I want to study at Delhi University. So, naturally that I can transfer the credit into Delhi University and redeem. For example, if for a short while that I want to get out of the system and I want to do job, and after that if I am coming, then naturally that I am redeeming the credit. That means these are the credit that I have, and on redeeming the credit you can go for higher education also. So that is there. And regular online and distance mode. Suppose whether you are studying in regular mode, online mode or distance mode, whatever it may be, ODL system, regular system, all these are at par, equal. Therefore, the students can opt for the correspondence course or ODL system also. And it is valid for 7 years. After that, they can redeem it and they can renew it actually. It is not like that it is total over. That means if you are earning a credit and after 7 years, if you are not using, after that you can renew it, that's it. And so, it increases the students' freedom. They can choose any course or any program. And then, they have created a clear framework, a national credit framework, and that is also in vogue. Therefore, my dear students, you also can create an account in the Academic Bank of Credit, and the present course, whatever that you are learning, that you can deposit there. So that now I think you could have understood what is ABC, and it is applicable for school students also. And then this is the flow. You open the account, the credit information, evaluation and verification, types of the course, and the credit validity. So it is talking about the flow of the process, how it is happening. And now the population demography. India is having a population of around 140 crores. Now what is the demography? The youngest population in the world, because India is having the highest number of young people in the age group of 15 to 25 now, and that is a very viable and very dynamic age group. After 10 years, they all will reach in the age group of 25 to 35 or 40. That is the best age group or the best workforce. And so, 50% of the population will be under 25, 66% of the population will be under 35. That means, in 2035, 50% of the population, at that time the population may be around 160 crore, let us assume. 80 crore people will be under 25 and 120 crore will be under 35. Now the question comes, what they will do? What is their employability? So these are all the great questions that should be answered, not now, after 10 years. So another thing, at that time, India will be the one and only country to provide employability to the whole world, because all the other parts of the world, they may search for the workforce. India is going to provide it. And the UN, the United Nations, is suggesting by 2027, India is going to provide 20% of the total workforce. That means the world population is 500 crores. 20% of the 500 crore means 100 crore people are from India only. That means they should be employable, then only they can get job. And that is why the NEP is implementing all these processes. And now the same thing. So what is the practical application or implication of this demography? They should be given the skilled employment or the skilled workforce, and that means the holistic education, because if you are an engineer, you should know the engineering, you should be very well be in communication, and you should have some social skill also, because the persons lagging the social skill, they cannot be much useful, because they cannot be the leader or the teamwork and all. Teamwork needs some social skills also, and therefore the holistic education. And what are the various facets of education policy? Skill development, critical thinking. What is critical thinking? In terms of crisis or the critical, because the environment is changing from time to time. Every time you cannot think in the same way, and therefore we need to do critical thinking. That means we have to go out of the box. The critical thinking and problem solving. How do you solve the problem? Recently in Chennai, it was flooding, heavy flooding. In some places, 98 centimeter in a day. That means it is a crisis, and therefore we have to think critical. So the critical thinking, how to solve the problem, that's very important, because the same procedure cannot be applied, and so we have to think that is separately, or we have to think beyond our imagination. Innovation, multidisciplinarity, all these are reduce the skill gap, because those skilled or unskilled, that gap is reduced, and enhance productivity in the key sector. What are the key sector? Information technology, or the what to tell, the media, communication, or the satellite technology, or artificial intelligence. All these are the core areas, and therefore there the productivity will be increased, and therefore we are getting the demographic dividend. What is the demographic dividend? The dividend a country is getting because of its demography, because of its population curve. That is called a demographic dividend. And this is the demography. You look at the diagram, see, it is low, that is at the lower ages, the curve is like this, and gradually it is bulging. And what is the region? From 10 years to 25 years, maximum number of population is there. And the blue color, that is male, and the pink color is female. And that means both the males and females more or less identical. And when the age is increasing, gradually that it is sharp and sharp. That means it is a natural demography. And that is given as a curve also. And now the URL is also given. So it is the demography of India, and you can search yourself the demography of various other countries also. Certain countries the demography is sharp like this, certain other countries it is like this. That means in the upper age group more number of people, in the lower age group less number of people. So this is called the demography. It is changing year to year, and therefore in that website that you can see the demography of various countries. And for the present time, that we will talk about the Indian demography. So in what way that it is going to give great dividend. And see, what is the employability? Employability means after graduation, how many people are able to get employment. On an average, in the job market, the overall employability is 50%. That means out of 100 people passing out in the college or university, only 50 people can get employment. And surprisingly, the male employability is 47 and the female employability is 52. That means the females are more employable than the males. So now you can see the inclusive education. We have to include them also. Then naturally they are getting more employment, and therefore the national economy will gradually increase. And the curriculum is little relevance to real life application. Suppose when you are coming out, the reality is very different from what you have studied in the class, and therefore it should be life oriented education. And the digital literacy, data literacy, all these are in high demand skills. So I have taken the data from Skill India report 2023, and so these are the skills required, and therefore if students are gaining these skills, easily that you can get employment. And the NEP is bridging the skill gap, and so it is aligning the students as per the industrial requirements. So what the industry needs, accordingly that we are creating the students. And then the skill development and employability. So, what is the practical steps to be taken for achieving the employability? You look at that. The skill-based curriculum as per the National Skill Framework. See, the National Skill Framework has devised or it has prepared many lists of skills for the classes 6 to 8, 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and the college level. So, various levels of skill, that is the horizontal mobility, and various depth of skill, that is the vertical mobility. So, the NSQF has already identified, and in class 9th and 10th it is called additional subject. In class 6, 7 and 8 it is optional, you can learn, and it is not given any mark for the credit. In this you are given the credit. In 9 and 10 it is additional subject. In class 11th and 12th it is elective subject. You have to choose an elective out of the list, and therefore the skill development will prepare the students for the job market and internship in private and public. And therefore you can imagine a 6th standard student is taken to the industry. Therefore, when he is coming out of the school itself, he will have a idea or plan or vision what to do next. So, that is the great advantage. And institution to develop entrepreneur cell. So, in almost all the higher education institutions and universities, they have to develop entrepreneurial skill. That means those who want to start industries, then the cells will give ideas or even the financial idea also. And the incubator facility is the next step. That means they are ideating the concept. That means they are developing the concept, they are trying or incubating that concept within that university or the institution, and once they are testing it, directly it is transferred to the industry. So, that is called incubator facility, and all these are part of the NEP. Okay. Internationalization, it is another great concept, because India cannot stay alone in the world map, because the globalization has made or it has broken the walls between the countries. Now all the countries are more or less boundaryless, and so the liberal education is the best for global citizen. What is liberal education? We have already discussed. The 4-year course, inclusive of all sciences, humanities, arts and other subjects, that is called the liberal arts. In most of the countries, the liberal arts is in practice, and therefore if the students are studied under the liberal arts system, naturally they can move into foreign countries, and similarly the foreign countries also can come into India. Recently IIT Madras, it has opened its center in Dubai. Like that, some other foreign countries like Stanford and Harvard, etc., they also will come to India and they will open their university centers, and therefore it is bilateral, and so that is called internationalization, and the NEP is preparing the students for internationalization or the globalized economy. And so it will attract foreign investment also, because many foreign people are coming to India and their education system is very different or their expectation is very different. If that is fulfilled, naturally they will invest in India also. For example, the Hyundai or the Kawasaki, all these are the foreign companies investing in India. Now they will invest more in number, all the European companies will come, and so naturally the entrepreneurship map will increase, and therefore the foreign exchange will also we will get. If the students are not going to foreign country, that we will get a large amount of foreign exchange, and when that students are coming to India, in that way also that we are getting the foreign exchange, and therefore the economy is added greatly in that. And it is aligning the Indian education with the international trends. And see, economic liberalization, competition, modernization, because now we will have competitors from outside. Modernization, modern education, when the Stanford or Oxford is coming, then our education system will be modernized and globalized. All this already we have seen. So, in that way, clearly the NEP is targeting the knowledge economy. And digital empowerment, because achieving all this can be done by the digitalization only, and therefore the online education, top 100 universities or institutions, they can start their own online courses. For example, the University of Madras, it has got A double plus in the NAC accreditation, and therefore they can start their own online courses. And then for sharing the knowledge, Diksha. So all the link is given, please try yourself. The Diksha is a platform for sharing the knowledge. That means I create some knowledge, you create something, we can share, put it in the Diksha portal. And Swayam Prabha, Swayam, in this course it is a Swayam MOOC only, and Swayam Prabha is a DTH channel. It is a what we tell YouTube channel. There are around some 34 channels are there, Swayam Prabha. And LMS, the learning management system, that is also given. And so that is called the digital empowerment, and NEP is opening the pathway for the digitalization also. And the digital empowerization and the coding, computational thinking, all these are some new concept. Coding is starting from 6th class onwards. Computational thinking means we are thinking like a computer. That means how the system or systemic thinking, that is called the computational thinking. And what to tell, technology assisted translation, because we have to create a large number of digital library in different languages. And so all these are online assessment and examination. There is a portal called National Testing Agency, NTA, that is conducting all the examination online. Nowadays IIT exam and all others are conducted online, and many university exams are also conducted online. And so National Testing Agency, blended learning, blending means we are blending the classroom teaching with the online teaching, that is called the blended learning, flipped classroom, etc. And so in all that, it will increase the gross enrollment ratio, GER. So most probably India will cross the GER of 50% in 2035. And the next portion is governance and autonomy. The University Grants Commission, that is bifurcated into different agencies, and the new governance, the accreditation framework, the independent regulating authority. So the affiliation of colleges will be scrapped out in 15 years. That means there may not be any affiliated college, only the autonomous colleges, multidisciplinary education research university. So new university structure will form, multidisciplinary research education university, that is called MERU, and National Research Foundation. So for research another foundation will be created, and this is the structure of governance and autonomy. You can see the UGC will be scrapped out, and for that the Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, it is the apex body. Under that, because now the UGC is doing all the job, the curriculum and the financing and all other things, that is done by UGC. That is a cumbersome work, and therefore it is divided into 4 categories. The first is National Higher Education Regulatory Council, NHERC. What is its role? It will regulate only. Regulate means whether the colleges and universities are functioning properly, that is a regulation. and the second, General Education Council, that is setting the standard, the curriculum, what to study, what not to study, how to study. So the curriculum setting, that is called the General Education Council. Some example, the Medical Council of India, NCTE, National Council for Teacher Education, Dental Council, all these are some examples of the GEC. And Higher Education Grants Council, because in the public financial administration, the granting is very important, and therefore that is done by a separate body that is mainly for funding, that is called HEGC. And the fourth one, accreditation. At presently it is done by NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Body, and that is replaced by NAC, that means National Accreditation Council, and that is looking after only the accreditation. So now you see a clear implementation strategy has been devised, and it is being implemented at various states also. And so once all these are functional, that means now gradually that we will start getting the fruits of the NEP in terms of economy. And summary. So far we have discussed about the NEP 2020 by the various dimensions and how the Indian education system, that will increase the GER, the gross enrollment ratio, and through that how it is increasing the GDP, the gross domestic product. And it can make the India as a knowledge superpower by 2035. That is very surely it will happen. There is no other doubt in it. And what are the various components, the stakeholders, the state governments, institutions, students, parents and industry, all of us are the stakeholders, and so all the stakeholders should be aware of it. So the main reason or the main topic of this module is you should be well aware of how NEP is going to affect or going to increase the Indian economy. So we should be well aware of it, and we have to ensure the growth of Indian economy. So now let us have some questions for practice. So with that we will conclude now. How GDP is affected by the changes in literacy rate and the number of years of schooling. Question number 2. What is the Indian knowledge system and how it is dealt in NEP? The third one, discuss the multilingualism in NEP. The fourth one, discuss the governance of higher education. And the last question, write the important characteristics of school education as per the NEP 2020. So these are the questions for practice, and with that we will conclude the session. Thank you.